Hello everyone and welcome back to the Crested Gaming Lounge. I am Crested Gaming and today we will discuss our first impressions of a new MMORPG called Astellia. So sit back and relax and enjoy our review. So, what experiences do we have with playing MMORPGs then?
Well, we have played a lot of games.
Yes.
Yeah, when we played end content in World of Warcraft for a long time, but we don't play World of Warcraft anymore. So we tried out Star Trek and Terra and Blade and Soul, Conan and different Guild Wars 2 and such.
Yeah, basically many MMOs.
We have a bit experience.
Yeah,
Even though we haven't reached end game for many of those, we still have tried them out.
Yeah, and most of them we've leveled up maybe to max level and then we dropped out because we didn't find anything that was
Fun
enjoyable with the game.
Yeah. So we have a lot of experience with RPGs, and so we were quite excited when we found that there's a new one called Astellia.
Yeah, just I think for the fact as well that there's not many new MMOs released anymore, since like the genre of MMO RPGs is very specific. It's just aimed at a very specific type of gamers, so they don't really release many of them anymore. It's a very focused group.
So what is Astellia?
Well, it was developed by a company called Baronson. I don't really want to butcher that name anymore, but that's how I pronounce it.
It is a Korean company, and it was released in Korea 2018. It was late summer 2019. This was brought to North America, and it was released on Steam in January 2020.
Yeah. What the developers are saying, or their goal rather, is to sort of get the MMORPG genre back to its roots, which is a very bold statement. But
it's a very bold statement.
I hope they will achieve that.
So about Astellia's story, it is a high fantasy game, and it is always one, the good versus the bad, and it's about Astellia's and with the help of Astell's fight in evil.
Yeah, basically, like you are being picked out as you are the chosen one. You must go forth and beat all evil, and you're being granted your first Estelle, which is a small, tiny...
It's a doll
girl thing?
It's a doll that claims to be the wheels of fate.
Yeah, she's
and that's
the
why
one
we were chosen.
Yeah, she's the one who runs fate.
Yeah, and the reason we are fighting evil is because evil forces took our family members. Yes. And it is a very, as we say, cheesy concept, but it works. It works. I'm not complaining about it.
I mean, it is a very easy segue into the storyline. Somebody takes your sister, mother, father, or kills some of your family members, and then you want revenge, or you want to...
There's a driving force there.
Yeah, it is easy to find that.
And there are 5 classes. You have a warrior, assassin, mage, scholar, and archer. And each class has its unique specs.
Yeah, it is very typical for being an MMORPG. They have the typical fantasy classes. And I do like the fact that they have the typical 3 specs. That is definitely a plus. Their max level is 50 plus-ish. We don't really know yet. There's apparently a star system when you reach level 50.
But they say the max level is 50, but you still gain experience to receive star status, and we're not really sure about that.
No, we haven't reached that far.
We haven't reached that yet. We have played for...
Was it 3 hours?
Yeah, we played for 3 hours, and a casual play, and that made us reach level 10. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, I must say it's a very nice pace of a game actually. You still want a combination of feeling like you're making progress, but you also don't want to be hindered, or you don't want it to be too quick. Like you want somewhere in between.
You want some playtime.
Yeah, you want playtime, but you also don't want to reach max level like in a day.
Yeah,
exactly. Still want it to actually be enjoyable.
So let's start the review then. We have reached about level 10 in 3 hours of casual play. And these thoughts, good and bad thoughts, are what we have noticed so far. And we will have a more in-depth review when we've reached end content. So the bad parts of the review is, well, the body types for male and female. There are a few. There are not many, and depending on the body type you use, maybe your head will get cut off in certain cutscenes. That they have this scaling, like, oh, you can have the lowest and the highest, and if you put everything in the highest, your head would be cut off. In the cutscenes. That they should think about those things.
Yeah, I mean that is something we have seen in other MMOs as well. They are very. They have a hard time with that, apparently. Like, when there's a cutscene, if you made your character too big or sometimes even too small, too, you can disappear out of frame. They sort of have it adjusted for that.
Yeah, so that's a bit bad.
Yeah.
It's not a bit bad, it's very bad.
Yeah, especially when your whole head disappears from the cutscene. We did notice as well that the skin tones are a bit lacking.
It's not clear which skin tone is what.
No.
There can be. It's weird because they have a spectrum that is very. They have a pale spectrum, absolutely. That's most apart. They don't have enough darker skin tones. But the darker skin tones, it's not so clear where they are. You have to fiddle around with the scale and everything to actually get the darker skin color.
Yeah, you basically pick like a preset dark-ish skin tone, and then you have to have sliders to change around the actual tone of it. So that is a bit difficult.
And I found that there was a big lack of representation there, both in skin tones, and you can't choose missing limbs, and that actually upsets me because we are so far. It's 2020 today. Why can't I choose a character to have missing limbs? Why can't I choose to have a prosthetics, missing eye, scarring over the whole body, tattoos? And no wheelchair. There is no representative. Like representation is very bad.
Yeah, I mean, missing limbs could be easily implemented. Maybe legs a bit more difficult, but arms definitely.
Yeah.
Since many of these games, you're not really that zoomed into your character when combat and stuff happens. So even if that looks a bit clunky, it still works.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're like a warrior wielding a sword and a shield, you could still be missing your arm because it's a fantasy game. You could hold the shield with magic.
Yeah, or you can just hold your sword in the hand you have, and you can just attach a shield to, I don't know, a stump or something.
Yeah.
If you have
a longer limb.
You can just. It's not that difficult.
So I must say, and I'm disappointed actually at those facts because, as I say, it's 2020. For fuck's sake, get your game together.
And I mean, the game was released late 2018, early 2019, so it is relatively new actually. It's not that old.
Yeah. And it's the same as with the skin tones. Like, for fuck's sake.
What we had, something we did notice is that there's only one starred area. That is something, unfortunately, that many newer MMOs really struggle with. They have one starred area. I suppose it's for ease. Yes, so they don't only have to make one area for every character to start in.
Yeah, but that gets so boring. I mean, what was good with World of Warcraft is you had the different starting area for different races, and that is heaven when you want to try out a new class and a new race or something. That is absolutely amazeballs. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, especially since it is an MMO, there is a lot of replayability in an MMO. You are going to want to try all the classes.
Yeah.
Maybe even if there's races, you want to try the different races out. You are going to play more than just one character.
Yeah.
So
and that will make it continue because there are no races here.
That is true, yeah.
It's so weird. It's like, yes, you can make point ears, you can make small ears, you can make your character very tall or very short, but there are no races. I mean, you can kind of get a greenish skin tone, but there are no races.
No, I mean...
everyone is human.
Yeah, I mean, there are games that do that as well, but then they have more body modifications you can do to make yourself very brawny or very tiny and short, like extremes. They don't really have those extreme spectrums when you modify your character.
And I feel that is that is because they have this sliding system.
Mhm.
Like, oh, okay, you can make your character so unique, but I don't fucking care how big my hands are. Seriously. So it would be better if you just gave me a lot of more body type options, so I don't have to do all this scaling all the time to get my desired body type. Just, okay, maybe I want a girl with a bit more in the trunk, but offer me that body type.
Yeah, that is unfortunately, again, it sounds like I'm complaining a lot on Asian MMOs, but that is something that many Asian MMOs have. This slider system. You can sit there for literally 2 to 3 hours and just customize your face, and it's a fun little thing to have, but in an MMO it's not really necessary.
It gets. I mean, the shine in hair. I don't fucking care about the shine in my hair. Why?
Yeah, you're mostly gonna wear helmets and cloaks and stuff like that.
It's enough to have a slider for, I don't know, the color intensity on my hair. I don't want to have to care about the shine. To just give me a medium shine and I'm fine.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is true.
I'm not zooming in on my character that much.
No, I mean, you might do that every now and then in MMOs to check out a new gear piece you've gotten and see if that works together with the other gear you have, but that is basically it. Another thing we did notice, I don't know if this is because of translation errors or whatever, but there are certain cuts in text when they describe characters in the character select screen.
Yeah, the archer they always have a little bit of an intro text to the classes. And I noticed that it was the first one I noticed. It was the archer. It ends with a bow, bow. It's not even there's no it's no ending of the sentence or anything. It's just bow.
yeah, it's a bit weird. I think it's just maybe. I mean, considering the game it was released in Korea in late 2018, and it has just arrived to Europe for us in 2020. It could have just been a very rushed translation work, but it's still.
If it was only at one place, then I would think that.
Yeah,
but it's not only the archer. I don't remember if it was the mage or the scholar had the same problem. And then we were actually playing the game. There was dialogues that also had that.
Yeah.
It's so strange. It's like they didn't fit all the text into the square where the text was supposed to be.
Yeah, you can sort of notice it at places as well where when there is subtitles, for example, in cutscenes and stuff like that, you can see like people read the subtitles, and then you hear the character saying something completely different from what the subtitle actually says. So
the wording is wrong.
Yeah, the wording is very off. I don't know if they're trying to match it with like mouth movements and stuff.
It might actually be, yeah. But it's like they had, they are supposed to say something like that. You as a voice actor, just make something up.
Yeah, and sometimes I notice that they say the exact words that are in the subtitles. It's just that they come in the wrong order.
Yeah.
They say it in a different order than the subtitle actually describes.
Precisely. It's not. It doesn't sound bad because it's in a way that it actually makes sense.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it is a proper sentence.
Yeah, it's a proper sentence, but it's still weird.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. Yeah, this is maybe a little tiny thing as well, but sometimes there is lag.
Yeah.
I don't. There is one server apparently for North America and one for Europe, but I don't know if it has something to do with our location to the European server.
Yeah, because we live in Sweden.
Yeah, but usually when they place European servers, they place them in like the UK or something, or Germany. So it shouldn't be that big of an issue.
Because the specs for the game is not too bad. I mean, our computers can handle it, no problem. We have everything and more.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard these complaints from other places too, and people that have really good machines, and that there should be no issue with the lag.
Yeah, and it's very much when you stream, there's a major notice of that. You were streaming, I weren't streaming, and yes, I had some lag, but it wasn't game-breaking lag.
No.
It's not like, I don't want to play it because it's lagging so much. That wasn't an issue for me.
No.
You had a little bit more trouble with that.
It wasn't so much of a visual lag, really. there was more visual lag, of course, like
Mm.
video lag, but there was some kind of sound stuttering that
Mm.
was going on. I don't know. It could have been an OBS setting or something.
Yeah,
I don't
probably.
know. But again, this shouldn't be an issue with such a new game. It should just work. There shouldn't be any. This amount of lag shouldn't exist. It's just that's something we noticed.
And since we're talking about stuttering, let's talk about the voiceover in some quests.
Yeah.
The one-liners.
Yeah.
It's strange because you go to an NPC who was supposed to give you a quest, and they have a voice-over one-liner. It's like, "Oh, the weary traveler, please help me." And then there's a bunch of text. They ain't talking. And when you're doing the game, it's not usually you who talks; it's your Astellia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is kind of weird because, like, the Astellia, she has a very prominent voice actor.
Oh, yeah.
She is voice acting a lot of things, but for some reason in quest dialogue, she's usually
not
she
talking.
doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's this greeting phrase
yeah.
from the NPC, and then it's just a bunch of text.
Yeah, and I mean we see that in many other too. I mean World of Warcraft has that with one line. Oh, greetings.
Yeah.
And then you just get the quest with all text.
Mm-hmm.
But here it's like there seem to be. It's supposed to be a dialogue with voice, but they haven't added it.
No. It's. I mean, I can see this being a thing because like older MMOs, they've had this concept before. You just get a wall of text, you get a letter or something to read. It's just a quest text you read. But in newer MMOs from like I don't know mid 2000s something, some of them have very developed and prominent voice acting in every quest they have.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they could have spent a bit more time. Just since most of the quests are not really that long.
No, they are
it's not a long quest text. That could have worked.
Mm-hmm. We have a little bit the story because we say the story is very cheesy.
Yeah.
And I mean it's not bad, but it's like we've seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
Could you make something else?
Yeah.
And there are some things in because when you started up when your family member has been taken. There is a 4-month gap between when you're off to the travel, when you're out for the adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like they say, what have you been doing these 4 months? It's like, okay, you were badly hurt, but we don't get a montage of you healing or if you train or something. It's just like 4 months later. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, okay, what did I do this month?
Yeah, I mean, and like according to the like cutscene you have after the first encounter with the big bad enemy, they say that you are exhausted and you just used a lot of your power and you just knocked out sort of. It's not even like you're hurt or damaged. You're just exhausted from combat. So I mean, were you in a coma for 4 months or like? There's nothing describing that.
Yeah, so that is what a nitpicky part of the whole storyline that we feel like they could have been a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. Mm. Something I noticed when I played one of my characters on my own is that combat effects are not really explained that well. I mean, when I mean combat effects, I mean like bleeds, elemental effects like fire and stuff like that. There's nothing really describing how that affects your combat because some abilities have extra effects depending on, for example, if the character is bleeding or they're on fire. There's really nothing that explains that. You have to read through it. Yeah, in the tutorial of combat, there's nothing that describes any of this.
No, so you might think that it's just damage, but it's not the whole thing.
No,
there are more, and that they don't tell you in the tutorial.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
And the next point is my biggest. It's my biggest problem with this game. Because when you first log in on your character, you get hit in the face by 4 action bars. And I was just like, if I'm a new gamer, a new player that I never played in the MMOs before, and I see that there are 4 action bars, I would say, I can't play this game, I'm not good enough. And now we have reached level 10, and I think I have 10 abilities, and it's not counting my Astellia's abilities. There is a regular action bar that is from 1 to what is it, 12?
12.
Yeah, then you have the shift 1 to 12, then you have the control 1 to 12, and then you have the F buttons that are your stealth abilities. And to be honest, even though I've played quite a lot of MMORPGs, I get overwhelmed. I don't want to deal with all that shit.
Yeah, I think that is something that new players that come into the MMORPG genre are being a bit overwhelmed by, because there's a lot of abilities and sub-abilities and other things you need to think about.
And I mean, it's not like I don't have experience with a lot of buttons.
No.
But it's too much. It can be too much. Oh, you get used to it by training, but fuck that. It does not. And because you say, oh yeah, it's something from the old MMORPGs. That it's always a bunch of buttons. But the truth is, if you have a lot of buttons to press, it becomes, you don't enjoy it because you're so focused. I need to press the right button so I don't get out of my chain and my button order I need to press. So you don't enjoy it. You can't. You need to think of tactics. Then that comes in second hand. You can't enjoy the environment, the fight, because that comes in third.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I really want a simple button system, not too much buttons, and so I just can enjoy playing the game.
Yeah. That is something that World of Warcraft did well eventually. They did a lot of like cutting away and pruning off abilities that they
merging abilities.
Yeah, they merged abilities. They took away abilities that they noticed weren't used and maybe were redundant. They didn't do anything for the classes.
Yeah, it was like, oh, you only use this 10% of the time you're fighting. And it's then we can just add that effect to something else, and so that was it. They cut down a fair bit to begin with, where they take a lot away, and that was in the other spectrum, on the other side of the spectrum. So, and then they fixed it so they were a little bit more. So the amount of buttons pressed in World of Warcraft, I feel was ideal. I could start as a new player, get to learn that, and it would still be enough.
Yeah. I mean, like I said before, say what you want about the game or the company itself, but they have done many things right when it comes to an MMORPG, and I think that's why many other games have struggled to compete, but
they can't attract new people because they get scared off by different things. Like, okay, because there is some kind of elitist thinking of, you need to do that, you need to spec that way, you need to press those buttons in that order. And when you're a new player, that is not sexy. It's like, fuck you guys, I can play something else.
Yeah. Something we noticed actually right before we were gonna start doing this is there's really you start off with like 5 character slots,
and we get to that later. That's the good part.
Yeah. You have 5 character slots, so you can make 5 characters. But there's really, and you can unlock more apparently. But we tried to research this, but there was really no information on the cost of adding additional character slots.
It said you can use a coupon, you can use
some kind of gem.
Yes,
some kind of.
Okay, so
currency.
we thought, okay, let's see how much the currency costs. Yeah, they have bundles for how much currency.
Yeah, of course.
But then we noticed they don't say how much of the currency a character slot cost.
Yeah, or how much a coupon is for certain things. There's no information about that.
So I don't know which bundle to take if I want to put some money into it.
Yeah, like do you buy the smallest bundle and then you realize, oh, that's not enough, so you have to buy another one of those, or you have to buy even a bigger one and you spend way too much money than you actually needed.
Yeah, so it's an in-game cost. It's not an in-game cost like that, but it's not really well informed.
Yeah, and to be fair, they have 5 slots and there's 5 classes. So you can, in theory, make one of each character. It works, but people sometimes want to make more than just one. Like if you made one class in a certain spec, then you want to make another in the same class but with a different spec. So that is, it's a small thing, but still.
And I think we actually forgot to mention about the gender issue here.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, because only 2 classes can be male.
Yes.
All classes can be female, but only 2 classes can be male.
Yeah.
That is not good.
No, again, I'm probably gonna come back to this a lot, but
Yeah.
again, that is something that a lot of
It's a
Asian
thing-
MMOs
Yeah.
are struggling with and have as an issue.
That
They
it's
sort
like
of gender lock classes.
it's stereotypical.
Yeah.
It's stereotypical of the Asian MMORPGs.
Yeah, definitely. Like they have a thing, I guess, for gender locking certain classes. I don't know why.
They have
the
a
same
thing of
in
putting
Terra.
boobies on small girls too.
Yeah.
I am not too happy.
No,
with
I mean
that.
we've seen this in Terra too, and Blade and Soul, like all of these Asian MMORPGs we tried out. They have all of these drawbacks that that we consider drawbacks.
Yeah, but seriously, I mean, and it's so weird because it's only the melee classes that can be male.
Yeah,
all the range
I
classes
noticed
are
that.
female.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
That sucks.
There has been discussions on forums that this might change
I hope
because,
so.
from what I understood, basically in the Western release, that is the only release where you can actually be male. Like there has been discussions about that. They're only female in the Korean version.
Yeah, but because the loading when you can choose which class you want to be, there is 2 males.
Yeah,
the
I know,
warrior and the
yeah.
assassin is a
Yeah,
male.
I know, but apparently, according to some people, that is something they added for the Western release. I don't know if that's true or not, but I could see that being a thing. I don't understand why though. I mean, I am all for having both genders
A gender
for all
neutral
classes.
version.
There might be some races that you have in some games that can only be female or they only have males. I don't have a problem with that.
Remember, you can't play as the Jinn from World of Warcraft, but they were genderless.
Yeah, they were,
I mean,
yeah.
well, they were about just an entity wrapped in bandages, but they were genderless, for example. And I can actually think that could be a good thing to add what pronouns you want to use. Like, say you make a male-looking one, but you want to use the pronouns they and them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Before you okay, name your character, what pronouns do you want to use? That would be good. I would like that very much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to take an example here, but for example, South Park games have actually utilized this. They do use it as sort of a gag and a joke and sort of like.
But it is included.
It is included, especially in the later one, the Fractured Butthole. They actually have the ability to make a character that is technically male, but you can identify as a female. You can make all of these choices. It is made as a joke to annoy people, but you still have the choice.
That is also a part of the representation.
Yes, definitely.
So that also would be good with all these other things we said. Make it better with the skin colors, offer prosthetics or cut limbs and and tattoos and such. So I feel like, and I was thinking about, we haven't discussed the hair. The fact there is only one natural hair, and it's a poof. It's the afro.
Yeah, it's the afro. Yeah.
And it's not even a good afro.
No, I mean the textures is really bad. It's basically like
a bush.
Yeah, it's basically that somebody made an afro.
No, they made a bush.
Yeah, no. I mean, the goal was to make an afro, but they made it after having it described to them by somebody that also have never seen an afro. And that was the result.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Yeah, so there, that and the texture of it. The reason I'm saying it looks like a bush is because the texture of it looks like a bush.
Yeah.
I kind of made it work when I picked one of the most darker hair colors, and the saturation was really intense. Like you could not really see the individual strands in quotation marks.
No, you can't.
So then it worked, but it was the only hairstyle with natural hair, and it was a really bad one. It was poorly executed.
Yeah, I mean, and on the topic of hair, I just realized something else when we're on this. Many of these games, like we have mentioned, they focus a lot on like jiggle physics and how big your busts can be, instead of adding focus on animating hair strands or making the hair textures better. I know that is graphically more demanding,
But then instead they're focusing on jiggle physics.
Yeah, and how big your bust sizes and butt sizes can be.
And it's funny, but I get annoyed by this because I'm a female and have boobs. I know how boobs move. The one who made jiggle physics doesn't know how boobs jiggle.
No, and definitely not.
I think wasn't it in Blade and Soul, the jiggle physics, it was individual boobs too.
Yeah, they sort of jiggled individually from each other.
These at least jiggle in the same direction.
Yeah.
But as soon as you flipped hairstyle, it was like the jiggle started all over again. It was Shane's hairstyle, jiggle, Shane's hairstyle, jiggle.
Yeah.
It's so annoying!
Yeah, I don't understand that. Instead of them spending more time on other textures, like you can actually... There are techniques you can use to make really good hair textures, for example. They should have paid more attention for stuff like that, just as an example. But
exactly.
It's just... I mean, should we maybe move on to something positive now? We've just been ranting.
Well, I want to say that the beard for the men.
Right,
That wasn't too good either.
No.
And there was not a real bushy one. I
That's
missed
true.
that.
Yeah.
We are Swedish. Facial hair is a very big part of our culture.
It is, yeah.
I mean, most guys have a full beard at some point in life. We even have that month when we're talking about prostate cancer, and you actually don't shave your beard, your facial hair during that time because donating money and making awareness and such. And I just feel like there weren't a bushy one. I wanted a real bushy facial hair.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so the good things. You had a really important point there, didn't you?
I like the loading card. You see the symbol and you can see your desktop image.
So it basically has like a translucent background.
Yeah.
You see the character.
I liked it very much. It's not like a square that just pop up in the middle of your screen. It's like, here's a symbol. Have that.
Yeah. I mean, on topic then, no, we're moving a bit back and forth here, but on topic of loading, the loading is a bit slow.
It's a long time to start, but if I remember correct, Terra had that too.
Yes, Terra had that issue too, so it might just be like a common thing, I guess, for newer MMOs.
And it's not a big deal.
No, and I mean, that might just be as well, like the engine they're running on might be struggling a bit. That might just be it. And one of the really, really good things we have to say about this game is the graphics. They're doing the graphics really well in this game. They are spectacular. It's really
so
nice.
beautiful. You see the environment and everything. Oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, that is something that you do miss from other older MMOs, obviously, because many older MMOs, they don't really update them like graphically. It could be anything. It's time consuming. The engine they're running on might not be able to handle a graphic update.
Yeah, and I'm sure in the coding, like when you start out the game, you think you're having order and everything to your coding, but I'm sure that while you continue coding, you realize, oh, I need another system of figuring out where in my code certain things are. I'm sure that many games don't get updated because they don't know where to update.
Sort of like maybe as well, like if they have had updates over the years, maybe the developers have sort of painted themselves into a corner and they can't really get out of that without having to scrap everything and rebuild it from the ground up.
And I know we're talking about Terra a lot, but because it's a good game overall. But that is one of the worst things because you weren't supposed to fly in Terra to begin with.
No, it's something they added.
And then they added it, and the graphic is not really cut out for it. Things are done midway, they don't have a backside, and those kind of things.
Like render distances and stuff like that doesn't work properly, so...
Can't fly too high.
They have a limit of that.
It's a bit boxy.
Yeah, but I think that is sort of a good middle ground too. They wanted to add flying, but I guess their skybox doesn't really give you the freedom to fly as high as you can. They needed to put the roof somewhere, and it's very, very low.
So we actually do like the graphics.
Yeah, they're very good. They're very good. We did talk about the music as well. I didn't notice it as much because I was trying to stream and stuff.
Yeah,
as well
but I
noticed
it, and I usually notice music, and it's so good. Like from the beginning of you creating your character, from that moment on, it's like the music is just, oh, I love it. And you say, like we talked about WoW. WoW has good music. You come into a different area and then music change and everything. But here it was like in the cutscene, it's really good music, and you notice the music in not in an overwhelming way, but in WoW I can't remember any of the music, but in here in Astellia I actually remember the music, and I remember the feeling it gives in the cutscenes. So that's also a good thing about this game. It's the cutscenes. The cutscenes are really good.
Yeah.
But that goes hand in hand with the graphics.
Yeah, they are really well done. Like, that's also a thing that I noticed, that you can have some slight lag in the game, but the cutscenes are made perfectly. It's just like watching a movie or a video.
Yeah.
There's no problem. There's no
Very
lag
cinematic.
or stutter. It just works.
Yeah, it's just that it takes subtitles a little bit off.
Yeah,
but we talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about the subtitles being a bit wonky.
Yeah.
The cutscenes.
And the voice over in the cutscenes are very nice.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Just not the subtitles. So.
Yeah, they did a good job there, because some of the like English translated Asian MMORPGs, when they have voiceovers, they can be a bit wonky and they feel a bit forced, and it's not like they don't really live themselves into the situation.
Yeah.
So, but they did well here, actually. I think it's a really good. They did good on that one.
And another good thing they did was the tutorial and the introduction.
Yes.
That is something we always comment on the tutorial and introductions when starting playing an MMORPG, a new one. And I compared it to, because we started playing Star Trek for not too long ago, and we started with the Federation side, and the tutorial was just crap. No, it was serious. It is not very good. And then we played on the Romulan side, the Romulan Imperial, and then suddenly it was good.
Yeah.
So I mean, and this it's a. They even have a voice tutorial.
I think they sort of got feedback on that, and since the Romulan as a
Yeah, the
race,
Star Trek one, yeah.
is a newly added thing. I think it is the actually latest addition to the whole faction
exactly.
sites. So,
but to back to Astellia with the tutorial, we think that it's really good, and it even has a voice tutorial. Like, remember, you can do this and do that. Like, oh, hi, who are you? Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's not that annoying thing like, hey, listen.
Yeah.
It's not that tutorial, I promise you.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and you don't just get like a text box like you do with certain MMOs. You can just get a text box that just gives you like bullets. Here is what you need to do. This is what you can do, and then they just leave you with that.
So to about level 10, I would say there is a pretty good tutorial and introduction.
Yeah.
And then yes, you have some things that you can actually check on the paper. Oh, you have come to this part. Read about this and this. But for the mostly, the introduction, the basics is very good.
Yeah, exactly. All right, yeah, we were talking about, because we do talk about this a lot when we play MMOs. It's grouping up with people, because we usually when we play MMOs, we always play together. We always do that. 2 to 5 people, we always have a group of 2 to 5
exactly.
people.
It's seldom we play on our own.
Yeah.
We usually play together, like, okay, let's try those classes out. I've been thinking about the other. Okay, I've been thinking of this. Let's start a new group.
And face it, that is how an MMO is supposed to be played. You're supposed, either if you have friends in real life, you play with them, or if you have friends online, you play with them. Even if you are just alone and you start playing, you are supposed to have this social interaction with other players. That is the goal with an MMO.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have to be in a group, but you can group up for everything, and that is something that we miss from certain games. For example, Terra, you have to do the first dungeons you have to do them alone, because that is a quest objective.
Yeah, like every first time you do a dungeon, they give you a quest objective, and you have to do a solo dungeon. Then you can redo it if you want to as a group, but there are many MMORPGs that we have noticed that have difficulties with this.
Yeah, they have certain aspects that you need to do yourself.
Yeah, which is I mean, if certain story aspects, okay, if it is directly aimed at your character development, sure, I could get it. It would be weird and wonky to have a group of 5 people to develop your character, but if it is, for example, like we said, a dungeon, an instance, you should be able to do that with groups just from the start. There are many MMOs that have issues with this. For example, Star Wars: The Old Republic. There's a lot of issues with that because you have to basically reach end content until you can sort of start grouping up seriously with people. There's a lot of story building up until that point.
And we were touching about the characters for different reasons.
Yes.
But there are 5 character slots.
Yeah, we did talk about that. There are 5.
Exactly. So it's one for each class.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that is pretty good.
That is good. So you can actually potentially make one of each class. That you don't need more than that.
Exactly.
Then you've done everything, basically. So that is a big plus. But then again, it is a paid-to-play game.
Yeah.
We will touch on that.
Yeah, we'll touch on that later.
Soon. But, I mean, so, yeah, I would definitely say that that's a good thing. Since it is not a free-to-play game, you will get more, obviously.
Yeah, of course. And we were going to touch about... we talked about the Astells, since they are such a major part of the story, and you're fighting and such. And we were talking about the thought of Astells, like having kind of like a assistant, a pet, or something that fights with you.
Yeah.
It's not a new concept.
Not really, no.
But it has improved here.
Yeah, they have done it really well. Like the whole concept of a pet or companion, they have done it really well because it is such a big part of
your story.
Yeah, of your story, of how you fight. You can collect. There's tons of Astells, and you're basically they basically want you to collect all of them. They want you to train all of them. They want you to level them all up because you use them in different builds for your character, how you fight. There's so many. They're divided into groups. There's offensive, supportives.
Yeah. I like the Astells, and they're really cute too.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, there are really cute Astells that you get sort of early on that are cutesy,
like a teacup lady.
Yeah, but there's also these really badass demigod-looking things that are just like giant demons or giants and monsters. So it's not like just a lolly's dream to have like these small, tiny little girls jumping around.
No, it's really good. And there is even a Don Quixote reference.
Oh yeah, right.
to one of those. I was like, when I first saw it, I didn't think about it, and then when I saw it the second time, I was like, oh wait, that's a reference.
Yeah.
I got that. And so that we really appreciate that. We like the Astells.
Yeah, and I mean, it would be weird otherwise, since that is sort of what they are aiming at. That is like their main thing of the game. Yeah. It is the Astells. That was supposed to be their unique addition, I suppose, to the old school MMORPG.
We talked about the because there is a weapon enchantment.
Yeah. To be fair, I guess most MMORPGs have a similar system.
Exactly.
Gems or enchantments or something along those lines. But
here it's like you don't get a weapon so often that it does not pay off to enchant it.
No, exactly.
That's the feeling I get at least since we've reached level 10.
Yeah, there are many MMOs that struggle with that. If like over the years when they get updates, they have sort of put a system in that you will get weapons more frequently than you would when the game started out. So the enchants for weapons early on is just they're rubbish. You don't even have to use them.
Yeah, exactly.
You waste material by using them.
So it's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
And they even have a transmog system.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Some games do have this. Not all of them, obviously, but most MMORPGs have a similar system. But from what I saw in this system, you could actually transmog like separate parts of your gear. You could transmog a chest piece to a certain thing. You could transmog head pieces and all that. Some MMOs you just have a full outfit that you transmog into, and that's the whole outfit you have. You can't, change the appearances of different pieces of the gear. So that is definitely something that most MMORPG players want this, because they can customize how their gear will look like at end content. Otherwise, you're stuck with what you've gotten.
Yeah.
It might be the best gear you have, but it's
shit.
Yeah, it might look like you just might look like a garbage pile.
Yeah. might look like a garden gnome.
Yeah, unless you get usually like end game full sets because they look human.
But that's not even though you get full set, it's not sure that it actually looks good on your character because
that might be,
you have the sliders, so you can slide them big, make them really big and really small.
Might look like a stuffed sausage or something if you're unlucky.
So about the price for this game, because you actually have to pay for it. It's not a free to play one.
No, I mean that. I am gonna say that I do prefer if you have to actually not pay a subscription fee like many or some old MMOs have and some still do have, but actually paying a one standalone sum that you pay once. Because usually it maybe sounds dumb, but most of the time it feels like you're getting something for that money. Like it feels like the game is fully developed, you get something that you paid for, and also most of the time you're not restricted by anything.
And since there is a monthly fee option.
Apparently there is.
Yeah, apparently there is. It's not by the Steam client, but there is apparently some one of those.
Yeah.
And I just feel like when you have a subscription, it's like, okay, I don't feel like playing these 2 weeks, so you lose money on it. But if you have you have bought the game for one-time fee, then it's like, okay, it's not the biggest, baddest thing if I have to work for 2 weeks of a lot.
Yeah, so. That is sort of the big downside when you are paying a monthly subscription. There's that constant pressure that you have to play, since you have paid a subscription fee to play it. You need to play.
I would rather have it like you have a one-time sum of money to get the game, and then maybe they have like outfits and such that you can buy.
Yeah, which
I would prefer that.
Yeah, which many free-to-play MMOs do have.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing about Terra is that system.
Yeah.
That you don't buy the game, but you buy everything else.
Yeah.
And the outfits. And
yeah, that is how most of the present MMORPGs operate. They operate on a free-to-play model. Then you can spend money either to support them if you want to and actually pay like a membership fee, or you can just buy a bunch of cosmetics and
buy a pet or something like that,
or mounts. But there's never any game breaking items.
No.
Some do have that, but they also get heavily criticized for that. So but I don't understand that in this game they do have a subscription fee of €10 a month, or you could pick
between 1 or 3 packages.
Yeah, you can pick a price package to pay a one-time sum to unlock everything.
And we've been checking out what's in each package, and to be honest, we don't think they're worth it. The 2 biggest ones.
No, I mean
we bought the standard package. It's €29.99.
Yeah, because we wanted to try it out.
Yeah, because we wanted to try it out. So it included a game license. There was two boosts like Norden's Favor and Niar's Passing, and then a scroll of exploration. So it's like the basic game with a couple of buffs.
Yeah,
that's it.
I guess maybe some of these buffs you don't get if you're a subscription payer. I don't know, but
I don't know.
It was very vague what you got from that. But
the thing that differs the standard package to the others is, okay, you get an extra scroll of exploration. You get skin for your first Astellia.
Yeah. You did the first Astellia you get sort of a recolor skin.
Yeah, exactly.
For it. The thing that differs them all of these packages is really you get a bigger quantity of the same items mostly.
A bigger quantity. You get a skin. You get extra character slot and warehouse expansion. And you get a appearance shade coupon, and that's the ring of exploration, equipment, skin for armor and weapon. Like it's not worth the price. I just don't think it.
No, they're sort of just like quality of life items that makes things a slightly easier than if you would have paid the standard package.
Because the standard package was $29.99. The value package is $49.99, and the deluxe one is $79.99, and it's all in euros.
Yeah.
And it's like it ain't worth $79.99.
No, since basically everything you get in the deluxe package, for example, is reskins of weapons and armor and
extra slots.
Yeah.
Like
there's one item that is more beneficial, which is the Ring of Exploration, which
that is
basically,
in the deluxe
which
package.
basically you can loot stuff just by having it equipped, and it will you suck up all the loot for
and
you.
So, I guess.
But that is the only thing that differs. That is sort of a premium item.
Yeah. I mean, I would have understood the $79.99 if there were a mount.
Yeah, like many of these type of games do. They do add.
Usually do in
yeah,
the
mounts is usually something they all. And from what I have seen, this game have a lot of really nice and unique looking mounts. So they could have done that. Like become a deluxe package backer, and we will give you this mount.
Yeah. So as I must say, if you say that this game is for me and you want to buy it, like, just get the standard package.
Yeah.
Unless you want to throw money at them, because I don't think it's not worth it.
No, I mean, there should have been an option then. If you bought the standard package, and if you really like the game and the developers, you could sort of buy an add-on package with the rest of the things you get from the deluxe package, if you really want to support them that way.
And that's also brings us to the thoughts we have about this game, because as we say, it's not a trial version. It's buy the game if you want to play it.
Yeah, basically. And if you're lucky and you buy it on Steam, you get a 30-minute. Well, you can play the game for 30 minutes. Like Steam, they have their concepts.
Yeah, you can. They can buy back the game if you didn't like it within 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And we think that 30 minutes. Usually they are very lenient, but 30 minutes. It's like in 30 minutes, I don't even make my character in 30 minutes. No. There's so many sliders.
I mean, even if you just rush through it and make all the preset settings for your character, appearance, 30 minutes is still maybe gonna get you through half the tutorial. I mean,
not even that,
no,
because
you're not gonna get much out of it.
Because we reached level 10 leisurely playing in about 3 hours.
Yeah.
In about 3 hours.
So 30 minutes playtime. We've said this about Steam before as well.
Yeah.
30 minutes is
it's
very limited.
Yeah, it's not very much.
Maybe if you just launch the game up and realize, oh wait, my computer can't handle this.
Yeah.
Sure, then that's a good policy. But yeah, they should add some kind of trial period.
Yeah, it would be like the trial version, like you get to one character slot, you get to trial it for 5, 6 levels, because we said that in about 5, 6 levels you have reached the storylines, you have gotten hooked on it, you have seen a lot of cutscenes, you get the story right, so that would be nice, and then you can't continue leveling beyond level 5, 6 unless you buy the game.
Yeah. I mean, there are many like there's even like free-ish to play MMOs that do this. For example, they do say that Star Wars: The Republic is free to play, but some say not, because you are restricted after a certain level. You're restricted after level 10, I think it is. You can be restricted with XP and all that.
Yeah.
But then that is the concept. You get to level 10. Then you can decide, oh wait, I want to keep on playing, so I'm going to pay a subscription fee because I want to get extra XP like all the other people get. So, and that's a free-to-play game. There's no other restrictions. So I do think, and even World of Warcraft has this concept.
Yeah, well, you reach 25.
Yeah, you can reach level 20, I think.
20,
yeah. You can do that on as many characters as you want. There's no limitations on how many tunes you can make.
No, exactly.
Reach level 20 for free. You don't have to do anything more than that. So that would definitely be a concept I think they sort of need to embrace eventually.
Yeah, and I think if they fix that, it could be a really good game, because that is like, what am I trying to say?
I don't know.
It could need that, because I think they will gain a lot of it.
Yeah, they will.
People don't buy because, oh god, no, I have to buy the game and I don't know how it is, and it's not right now. It's not a very big community in the English version, and
exactly. And I mean, even the few hours I did stream this game, I streamed it for 3 hours, and I got about 2 to 3 questions from people that were not certain if they wanted to buy the game or not.
Yeah.
They were actually had questions, and they were not certain if it was worth buying.
Yeah. So I mean 5 to 6 level, it's not a lot.
No, not really.
They could do that.
I mean, they're not going to lose anything on it.
No. I think they only gain a boost.
Yeah.
And if people say that no, I didn't like it, then okay, then people would probably have asked for a refund.
Yeah,
they would have bought the
exactly.
game,
It
or
was
they
the same
wouldn't have
concept.
bought the game overall at all. So
Yeah.
people that tried it said, "Oh, I would never have thought to actually buy this game, but it's really good. I want to contribute to the community and to the company, and I want to see this evolve." I think that would be a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, how do we grade this game?
Yeah. How do we feel about it? We still have, diluted this this review with a lot of our own feelings throughout the thing, but
that is about the game. It is your personal preference if you're gonna play it or not.
Yeah, exactly.
And when we have been discussing it, we realized, we were so hyped up on it. It was good graphics and everything. It was fresh since it had good graphics, and other games was a bit dated in that. But then when we started talking about the bad things, it's more like,
yeah, I mean,
were we delusional about this?
Yeah, I mean, sort of when we were preparing for this review itself, we were sort of, making points for and against everything, and we sort of thought, like, I mean, when we were playing it, we were so hyped up. Even the whole lagging thing, we just scuffed it off and said, hey, it's not a deal breaker. It's fine. It's cool. We can live with that. But like we have mentioned, it is a really new game. It's only like about a year and a half to 2 years old overall. These issues should not really be there. They should not be. Yeah. I mean, since from what I have read and heard too, this game has been in both alpha and beta builds where people have played through it, they have tested it, it has been beta tested. These issues should have been caught early on and shouldn't even have made it to the actual full release of the game.
Yeah. So, because we're saying that it has potential.
It has.
Oh yes, it has
massive potential. Yeah.
But it needs to deal with things like the representation, like the stereotypes, the lollies. I mean, I don't think it's appropriate to have big boobs on lollies, and don't give me bullshit that they are 2,000 years old.
Yeah,
because that is bullshit.
Really, yeah, it is.
It's kind of like the pedophilia and rape culture in one.
It's basically a loophole.
Yeah, it is. So like, screw to having boobs on the lollies. Like the jiggle physics on boobs. It still irks me. and don't have the representation. That is a big issue. It's 2020. It is a big issue.
Yeah, it is definitely. And I mean, to be fair, like we said, it has potential. It is a really good game. And if you're looking for something different, if you're looking for a new MMO or some...
Well, that's the thing. It is a new MMO, but is it really different? Because
Not
that is
really,
something we have said too. Since what is supposed to be unique about it? Yes, it is the Astells. And it's the new graphic. That is what's supposed to be unique. The Astell concept, I mean, battle pets, battle companions, it's not a new concept. So we have been a little bit like, when we actually look about what's good and bad, why should we really play this game when we can get everything of it from another game? From the only thing it actually has to going for it is the good graphics.
That is true, but I mean, for many people, that could be what is the big thing that makes them want to play it, because they could have played something similar to this game, but what they are really annoyed about is the poor graphics and like the dated graphics. And then this thing comes along and it has like new and updated graphics. And that could be what some people crave, what they want from an MMO. So I mean, that is just really... I think we are in two camps on this.
Yeah, because there is a bit of a preference here. What do I care about this game to give for me? Because it is a good game. It looks really beautiful and everything. As I have been saying, it lacks representatives. It doesn't have any races. It's like there's a lot of it not going for it. Yeah. But then it has the other things that goes for it. But that goes for every other game too. So why should I play this? And I'm a little bit like, yes, I do want to play it because I bought it.
Well, I mean, that works too, I guess.
But it works. But hear me out. I want to play it because I bought it and I want to see how the story unravels a little bit. But it doesn't give me any more fulfillment than playing Terra. Because again, I like the Terra and Guild Wars story too.
Yeah, but then again, to be fair, we have only reached level 10.
Yeah, so hopefully this will resolves itself.
Exactly. I mean, I still think that they have done many good things in the game. They have, like, combat, for example, they've done really well. Because even if it is a typical tab target combat, like all the classic MMORPGs, it's not the action combat that you see in Terra and Blade and Soul. But they have done it really well. It still feels like you're involved, even if it's a tab target, just click your abilities type thing. You still feel involved.
Yeah.
It involves you in the combat, and that also could be thanks to the updated graphics, because particle effects, and it just feels like if you're swinging a sword, it feels like you have weight behind it if you're hitting something. So there are many things running for it too. It's just, I think that we just have to
see how it develops also.
Yeah, we are sort of in the middle somewhere at this point, but like when we reach our more in-depth review of the game, maybe then we can actually give a stronger opinion of what we actually feel, because then we have reached end content, we have played through the whole game, we know what to expect, then so we have talked about it a lot, so we have decided to give it 3 of 5 geckos. Yeah, I feel that giving it lower than 3 is probably like kicking it a little bit too hard, because it doesn't really deserve that low of a score.
No.
But giving it 4
seems too much.
Yeah, it's too much, because there's still so many
things that we've missed from it.
Yeah, there's things that, like we said, well, if I'm gonna rephrase this, it's only a year and a half or 2 years old. There are still time for them to actually fix these things,
and hopefully fix.
Yeah, hopefully they will fix them, because there are time for them to do that still. If we tried this out, and let's say this was a game that had been released in South Korea for, let's say, 10 years, I would not have accepted this.
No, then I would have said, no, this is not okay.
No.
You have 10 years to fix these things.
Yeah.
And you haven't done it. It just shows what you care about.
Yeah, and like all you've really done is just made a translated version for the West, and you have put it on a Western server. And if these problems were there, I would not have expected it. I mean, if these problems were in, let's say, Terra or any of these other really old MMOs, it would not have been acceptable. I mean, if it was that much lag and stutter.
And that is one of the things that is with both Blade and Soul and Terra, that the cutscene and the voiceover, it's not very sync. And it's also one of the things that we think, oh, that sucks very bad.
Yeah. I mean, and on that subject, we might actually come back to Terra and these other games in the future. But that is the goal about this. We want to make, both like this, we make reviews of newer games that we haven't played. I think we're mostly going to focus on MMOs, but there might be other games popping in and out every now and then. But for me personally, I feel it's going to be interesting, because I can go back to some of these older MMOs I have played for like years back now. It feels like it's been forever, really. And we can actually relive them, and maybe even see, have there been updates? What has happened? Have they become better than last time we played them?
And see, like, okay, how bad are they really? When we look back in it, we thought they were good to begin it, but when we actually think about it, no, they are not good. It's just like we thought about this game, like, okay, we were hyping it, it's so good, but then when we're actually thinking about it, no, it ain't so great as we thought it was.
Yeah, and that might actually go the other way too. We might have played a game that we thought really, really shit when we played it, and then we played other games since and realized, oh wait, this is not really that good.
This.
This is not really that bad. It's actually pretty good. But yeah, that has sort of been our...
so conclusive.
Yeah.
3 out of 5 geckos.
Yeah, 3 out of 5 geckos. If you want to buy it, it's probably... I still would say it's probably worth trying it out.
Yeah. And I mean, since there is a subscription, monthly subscription,
then pay the 10, and don't... So check out the actual web pages, because there's no information of that actual subscription fee on Steam. So if you want to check that out, just check, I will put a link in the description of the video to that website you can check it out on. But yeah, it's sort of been our small casual review, I guess, of this. It's not really a professional review in that sense, but we aren't professional in this sense.
No, exactly. This is what we as casual gamers thought about this game.
Yeah. I mean, I am more hardcore, obviously, but I mean, I have sort of, and I mean, to be fair, you have sort of really gotten into that sort of game as well.
I like that. I have some favorite games.
So, but I guess until our next review,
Till the next time.
Yes, till the next time.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.